Welcome back, everyone. Having studied and looked at a variety of wood joints that could be used to, for example, construct some boxes using the excellent Focus on Wood Joints resource, let's spend today's session modelling up some of these in Onshape. We'll model up a butt joint, a mitre joint, a lap joint, a finger joint, a dowel joint, and possibly even a dovetail joint. You'll notice that some of these are very similar, so the process that we're going to be using to create some of them could be replicated to create others. Let's start with the most simplest option, the butt joint. We'll start with a new sketch and we'll select the top plane. Remember to press N on the keyboard, and that will view the normal to view, looking straight down on the sketch plane you've selected. Let's use a corner rectangle from the origin to draw a rectangle, and let's make it 50 by 10. So I'm just typing these numbers straight in. Of course, if you type the incorrect number, let's press escape. We can always select and double click on the dimension and change it to whatever we want. Let's change it back to 10. Let's use the mouse wheel to zoom in a bit and click and hold the mouse wheel to pan. We'll create another corner rectangle with the same dimensions, 10 and 50. And we'll click and hold the mouse wheel and the right mouse button to view this in 3D. So we want to extrude these now to create the three-dimensional form of the butt joint. Let's complete the sketch and simply use the extrude tool to extrude this surface by 50 millimeters, and we'll show the sketch again and extrude the other, being sure to create a new body. And there we have a butt joint. Now the good thing about Onshape is that we can continue to model lots of different parts inside of this part studio, and they'll appear down the bottom here. So let's just rename these so we can keep track of what we're doing. Just call them butt 1 and butt 2. If you find yourself selecting multiple ones and you can't right click and rename, then just press spacebar and that will deselect all of the selection, and you can then click and select individually to rename them. Okay, let's make our next one, which is the mitre joint. Exactly the same process, so I'll do this quite quickly without talking. And this time I'm going to add a line where the mitre will be. Now mitre is typically at 45 degrees. And just like before, I can use the extrude tool to initially create a new extrusion of this part. Let's choose 50 again. We'll show the sketch and multi-select to allow us to create the other side. Now this time, rather than typing in the depth, let's choose another option here. Let's go up to face, and we'll choose this face here. Rather than adding, let's click on new to create a new body, a new part, and we'll rename these mitre 1, mitre 2. very nice. At this point here, let's just hide these three planes, because in future we can use existing faces of these parts to create our sketches on. Let's do a lap joint. This time let's rotate underneath and create a sketch on this bottom face here. Press N and we'll draw the top view of our lap joint. This time we'll start from the centre. Let's just undo that just to clarify something. When we start from the centre, when we move our mouse over the line, we can see the line becomes orange because it's selecting that line. So if we were to click, it would snap to the line. If we come near the middle, we see we get a little square, and we can see the icon next to the crosshair also changes to indicate that we're snapping to the middle of the line. 50 and 10. And exactly the same process. Extrude, select this surface. Let's choose the same option before. We'll go to up to face. And we'll do another one. Let's show that sketch. That bit, that bit. Up to face. New. So essentially for these three we've used a very similar process to create all the different types of joint. We've created a sketch and then extruded parts of that sketch up. For this next joint, the finger joint, you might remember from our previous tutorial, we're going to use a combination of the butt joint, but we'll add some additional material. And then we're going to use this tool up here, a Boolean tool, to use a feature that allows us to subtract part of one feature using another feature. So let's create our finger joint. We'll start with a sketch. Let's choose this bottom surface here. Press N to look normal to, and let's keep it simple by starting off with our 10, 50, and the same again. And let's extrude those up. Let's just type it in this time. Show the sketch. Now there are a number of different ways that you can achieve what we're achieving here. So what I want to do now is I'm going to add some fingers to this part here by creating a sketch, and we'll sketch on this end. Let's press N, and let's create a couple of squares, and then we'll use the dimension tool to add some dimensions to ensure that they are equally spaced. So that's 50 from the top to the bottom. So we'll have 10 on each of these. Sketch should not be solved asks I put too many dimensions in, so let's delete that last one there. So we can see they're all black, indicating that they are fully constrained. We'll exit that sketch, and then let's just hide some of these just to save confusion. In fact, if you come up the top here, you can hide all of them and show all of them. Let's just clean our workspace up. Let's hide some of these sketches, and we'll hide all the parts apart from these last two here. So let's extrude these two parts of our finger joint. 1, 2. We don't want to extrude them that way, do we? So let's drag this the other way. Let's, for the simplicity, let's hide this part here. So let's hide, oh, wrong one. Let's hide this one, and we'll use the same up to face feature we used before, and rather than creating a new one, we're going to add it, and we can see the merge scope has already been selected as the only part that's there. So we've now got a completed half of a finger joint. Let's show our other part, and we can now use this part like a cookie cutter to cut out of the other one. So let's use the Boolean tool. What's the tool going to be? It's going to be this one here, and we're going to, sorry, made a mistake. Let's go into subtract. The tool is going to be this part here. The target is going to be this part here. And now we've got a choice. Do we want to keep the tool? We do, so we'll leave that selected. Then we'll click OK. And we can see now these two parts have that finger element cut out of them. And you can spend a bit of time renaming all these parts like I've done for the first two. So let's show all the parts, and what have we got so far? We've got our 4 different joints: butt, mitre, lap and finger. So what's next on the agenda? It is a dowel joint. Okay, so a dowel joint to me looks very similar to the butt joint. However, we've got some circles sketched on this surface. They've all been extruded. So let's just come around here. And if I right click on this part, I think we can make it transparent. That's a nice one, so we can kind of see what's inside. So we can see we've got 3 different parts here, 3 pins that are extruded, and then those pins have had the Boolean tool used to remove material from both this part and this part here. So I'm going to leave that up to you to work out how to create and model the dowel joint. The dovetail joint looks very similar to the finger joint. However, we can see that dovetails are like fingers, but there are angles. So what you'll need to do is to work out what the angles are, and then when you create your sketch, let's have a look down here. We can see we've got a sketch here of different angles. We've got to create the top one the same as the bottom one, and that's for you to see if you can work out how you can achieve that. So for the remainder of this activity, see if you can complete your 5 different joints. Did I say 5? I meant 6.